So we've looked at the gradebook, and what I'd like to talk to you about now is the final column that you'll find in the gradebook. So let's go to our gradebook. Okay, and if I scroll over to the right here, I'm going to notice that the final column is my total column, which totals out the student grades. Now, compared to the last tutorial, you'll notice I've filled in grades for the test student so that I could actually get an average for him or her. So an 86.05%. Now, obviously, if you're grading on a traditional scale, this student has a B. So what I want to talk to you about is I want to talk to you about one thing I didn't mention previously regarding the total column here, the final column that has the total for the entire course. And then I also want to talk to you about correlating a number grade to a letter grade. So let's talk about the total column first. The one thing I want to mention about this is you can actually choose if you prefer to have this column at the very beginning of your student grades right over here or at the very, very end. And to do that, you simply click on this arrow here. And if you want to move it to the front, you click Move on the Front. And the page will refresh, and your total column is now at the front of the gradebook. And then if you want to move it back to the end, you simply click on that downward arrow again, choose Move to End, and there it is. Now, I grade on a traditional scale, which means that this student would get a B. But right now, it says 86.05. And I can put in my syllabus that an 86.5 would be a B, and I will probably still get emails from students saying, is this an A or is it a B? So how can I actually handle this? Well, let's talk about that. What we're going to do is we're going to click on this here to open up our nav, and we're going to go into our settings panel. So we're going to navigate away from the gradebook into settings. In settings, we're going to scroll down right here to grading scheme, and I'm going to enable a course grading scheme. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Set Grading Scheme, and it's going to open up a window. Now Canvas comes with a preloaded grading scheme. This grading scheme does not match mine at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this little pencil in the upper right corner, and I'm going to edit it. I'm going to delete some of these. I only need enough for A, B, C, D, and F. There we go. Okay. So let me just change these. C, D, and F. Okay. So I want an 89.5 to a 100 to be considered an A. I want a 79.5 to the next to be considered a B, then a 69.5, then a 59.5, and then finally anything below a 59.5 is an F. So I've now changed my grading scheme. You can delete any of these by simply clicking the X's, and if you want to insert one between two, you can just click where it says insert here, and it will insert a line and allow you to then create a new letter grade. But I'm going to delete that. Scheme name, I'm going to call this Standard Scheme, and I'm going to save it. So I'm going to make sure this one is the one I have selected. I'll choose Done, and then this is the part you might forget to do. After you've done all of that, don't forget to come down here and click Update Course Details, because if you don't do that, then it's not going to enable your course grading scheme. And now, if I go back to grades, when I scroll over to the right, I will find that the total column now not only has an 86.05%, but it also includes a B. So that is how you enable a grading scheme, and that's also how you manipulate the total column.